I make my videos because it is actually for me at this point. I don't expect anybody to watch this. And especially when I'm dealing with the wall of retardation that's around me, they've been exposed in so many ways of how harmful they are to children. But the most disgusting part is like they wanted to paint themselves as these justice seekers and protectors of children, finding out that the truth is, in every way you can see, there's a very pedophilia-centric world that they're in. It is a world that is so pedophilia-centric, but at the same time, we're just used as test subject. But the stupidity, and for me, I'm so thankful. I've been tracking things like that because it's like a part 2 of versions of things they put in my brain. It is becoming so stupid. But the most important part is these losers the government contracts to do this. To just push you into insanity. They're doing things damaging to my body. And there'll be a day when I won't even be able to speak. But I just want to say thank you, God. I just want to be thankful. Let me just start off with what's happening. They've been playing my memories in different versions. And it's like they kind of mix things around, concoct things around, just to see and it's getting really bad. Because what is happening is the more discredited they are in regard to how they want to be seen, the more desperate they are. And I know they are concocting the stupidity together. Like they are really going in my brain and concocting the stupidity to be implanted in my brain. And as a target individual who deal with this memory manipulation and alteration, and the idiocy is at a high level. It is extremely high. And the more compromised they are, the more retarded. And what I mean compromised is the harder it is for them to paint themselves in the fashion of protection of children, of women, the worse it gets. Memory manipulation has been a big thing with me, how they play with memories, but they do that to other target. This is something they've been twisting around. Listen, this is how they twist things around. This is the memory manipulation that started off when I was in high school. Every once in a while, we had this community service kind of thing. And one of the most wholesome thing I did when I was there is like reading to kids. And I remember this to be a wholesome, very innocent, just wholesome. I don't even want to say something because they're going to try to flip around. But it was something wholesome that I remember doing. But that was part of the community service that we used to do. I remember reading to this, and this is what you're saying here, that I made a video about. And I remember reading to this kid that was like maybe a 6-year-old or something like that. And I remember her looking at me as I'm struggling to read because English was I was not speaking proper English at the time. Even now, my English is not the best, but she was looking at me and just being such a patient, sweet child as I was reading to her. In my memories, what they start doing is implanting stimulation that I didn't experience. Changing something that's wholesome, innocent, to something that is degrading. That they make me experience in my memories, which today, that's the things they do to me in real time. So that's the first part of the memory manipulation. Now, the stupidity of irrationality that is so strong. I need to brace myself and calm down as I'm going to try to break down the stupidity we're talking about here. Today, they do this disgusting manipulation that makes me have these disgusting experiences. They play with my libido and make me have sexual arousals in these degrading ways. That's what they make me experience in my memories. Make me experience that in real time today. It is so bad that sometimes I have testicle pain. So sometimes now it's not as bad because my libido, I guess, is just reduced. So I have to pick days where of the month where I have to release, just because of the intense, nasty experiences they make me experience. And that's because they manipulate me in this way. But before that, I'm just like every typical man. And I'm sorry if I'm being explicit and or graphic. Most men, a lot of special single men, do self-pleasuring. And I'm sorry for using that on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, something like that. And then the younger you are is even more often. So what they're doing in my memories, as a 15, 16-year-old, they try to make me think, oh, matter of fact, the reason why you would do like self-pleasing maybe as later on at some point, maybe the next day or something like that, is because you were so sexually aroused when you're reading to this child that you decided to do this. Try to connect me later on, regardless of the next day, something like that. It's because you were so stimulated when you're reading to this child. And you can imagine as a 15, 16-year-old, that those kind of like self pleasure is high, right? And I remember I had adult content that typical 15, 16-year-old to try to say no. The reason that you're doing that is because you just read to this child and you got too stimulated. There is some clowns around me. They even did some whipping noise campaign to try to make me accept these memories. It's like, no, but maybe later on that night, it's like, and like, yeah, what would you do? So, and really trying to create this stupidity in my brain, as if like that will have to do with anything with this me reading to this child, not just a 15 or 16-year-old who, on a daily basis, or every other day, did that. Try to connect me reading to a child to later on, regardless of the later on, the night or the next day, do something like a typical 15, 16-year-old kid would do on a daily basis. And try to make me imagine this stupidity. And then they use these clowns. Like I said, I have a wall of pure mental retards. They are clowns. Let me just say this better. The frustration today has been really bad for them. The reason why, one, I know that this loser around me are just some losers behind, like that are participating. That when I mean losers, they are truly the losery of human. They are the bottom feeders in this program. They are just the bottom feeders for a program led by governmental entities where it is clear validation that there's pedophilia issues. And they were trying to create mental battles today that actually, if anything, went back to reverting to like, these people are just pedophile centric and they contract these losers around you who know their assignment is to distract me and disorient me enough to internalize this disgusting manipulation to make me have. And when I say thank you God that in my life, either as a grown man or as a non-adult, I had to be this retarded. By the way, this is part 2. This is the new version. Oh, actually, not only you're so stimulated, the next day, or not even the next day, maybe the night after, or in the night, maybe, and try to create this imagination. And try to make me imagine. And try to make me have even mental battle. Oh, did you at the night and later on at night did you at that age? You probably do that almost every day, if not every other day. And it has nothing to do with me reading to this child. You just try to implant that. These clowns are retards. They are human retards. That I love that they have to live. They love this, by the way, but I love that they love to be retarded. Let me just say this better. First of all, I apologize for using the word retard. I'm sorry to say that word, but there is no other terminology that better show the stupidity, the idiocy, the regressed ways they want me to think. Some of these perps, by the way, when they say these things, they want to sound so confident in the idiocy. It's amazing. I can't wait to face these clowns. They are retards. Tiger Mitchell, stay strong.